Hello, I'm Jay Dutch and welcome to Dogstar Gaming. In today's video we'll be bringing you part 1 of a 2-part review episode of The Crew, and then in part 2 we'll be taking a look at the Wild Run expansion played on the Xbox One. In our first video we'll be taking a look at The Crew and breaking down the game as always into 4 parts: story, gameplay, level design, graphics and sound, and giving our final score out of 10. So with that being said, let's get started. The Crew was released nearly 2 years ago now, in December 2014. We'll be playing the most recent version of The Crew using only the free updates such as the graphics enhancement. We will then activate our Wild Run expansion and review that separately in part 2. The Crew is a huge online open world racing game that recreates the majority of the United States, where other random players populate your map seamlessly. With police, wildlife and endless incredible scenery, The Crew ticks all the right boxes at first look. But now let's dig a little bit deeper, starting with the story. So be warned, there will be some spoilers, but I will just give you a brief look at the story of The Crew. You control the main character, Alex Taylor, who you're introduced to by escaping the police in Detroit. His brother Dayton is the founder of the 510 Motor Club and is shot and killed, and Alex is arrested and charged for his murder by the FBI agent Bill Coburn. 5 years later, Alex is contacted by Zoe, an FBI agent that can get him released from prison if he will then help to expose Coburn's corruption within the FBI and finding the truth behind Dayton's murder. Alex accepts and starts to infiltrate the 510s, moving up the ranks and completing missions for contacts across the country to finally find his brother's killer. In my opinion, this was by far one of the best stories in a driving game. It's so much more than just turn up and race. Each story mission feels like an actual open world mission rather than a list of races. And that brings us on to gameplay. So The Crew is constantly online in free drive, with other players populating your map, but when you start a race it will be against a computer opponent, unless you select an online race. All of the game's story missions can be played with your friends. There are hardly any loading screens, just a slight pause at the most. The cutscenes blend into gameplay seamlessly and makes you feel a part of the story. With the whole of the US to explore, The Crew fills gaps by adding skill challenges such as slalom, jumps and driving line challenges, which can really help pass the miles in between locations. There are also hidden car parts and satellites to find to unlock all the icons in that area. The Crew really handles well as a racing game. It's very easy to pick up and play. It's just a really fun driving game. There is a limited selection of cars, but there's something from everything, from muscle cars, sports cars, exotics such as Lamborghinis, the LaFerrari. You receive a factory spec car, which you then take to a tuner, which are spread all over the country. The car classes are street, dirt, performance, raid and circuit. Some cars can be used for multiple classes. After each mission or skill challenge you are awarded a gold, silver or bronze medal, which will then give you a new car part for that car you just used. Next we'll be talking about level and map design. So as I've already said, The Crew uses the entire map of the United States of America, with a lot of the main cities featured such as LA, New York, Chicago, Dallas, and also some smaller ones such as Nashville and Amarillo. Some noticeable cities that are missing include Boston, Portland and Atlanta, but you get to drive along some incredible sea views and then plow over mountains and get to the best view at the top. The variety and feel of each city is really amazing, and each new city you discover is met with the same excitement. There is a fast travel option, but when you're with friends the joy is in the journey also. Now moving on to our final point, graphics and sound. The Crew did receive a huge free graphics update with the Wild Run expansion release, and that's only what I've ever played. It is beautiful. The camera shake and dirt or debris on the screen could be a little better, but the landscape and most importantly the cars look great. At any time you can stop and access photo mode to get a great shot of your favourite car. The soundtrack is in a radio system, although it does have a good selection of stations playing different styles of music. There's just not many songs within them and you'll get bored quickly with one station. So for our final verdict on The Crew, I have to say I was really surprised by this. It is an absolutely great game, and at the moment on its own it's dirt cheap. I've read a lot of people complaining about the constant online world, but I feel the complete opposite. I think it's great. I've never encountered any bad players either, in terms of just annoying you for no reason. It's cool to go over to another player who's currently in the middle of a field for whatever reason, and then you join in with some synchronized donuts. When you play with friends, that's when The Crew really comes alive, with full co-op and seamless transitions between races and free mode. The fun doesn't stop. There's so much to explore and you will definitely find yourself looking for landmarks. So our final score we'll be giving The Crew is an 8 out of 10. When you're driving down the Vegas Strip in a Lambo or across the Brooklyn Bridge in a Skyline with your friends, and the journey from A to B is so fulfilling, it's hard as a fan of a driving game not to love this one. The cars look beautiful and the driving aspect is really fun. Also being able to pull off some stunning drifts with not too much practice. I really didn't expect much after all the bad press, but I didn't come across any issues really. Joining friends is simple and there wasn't any connection issues. A lot has changed since the initial release and the game today should be remembered as a classic. I had a great time playing this, so much so that I then went on to purchase the Wild Run DLC, which I will be reviewing in part 2 of this episode. So don't forget to subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on that. Please hit that like button and let us know down in the comments what you think of The Crew and does it deserve the bad press it received. Thanks for watching and until next time, take care.